Namassarvebhya Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. In the Vaidhika Sahithyam, the history of Vedic literature, in the previous class we have discussed about what is called as Veda, the definitions of the Vedas, how Veda has been developed, the Anantavai Vedaha, how the big Vedas, which is like a vast ocean, has been divided into four as Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvaveda by the Krishnadvaipayana Maharishi. Later, after dividing the Vedas into four, because of it he became very popular as a Vedavyasa Maharishi. Vedavyasa Maharishi himself known as the author. Even in the shlokas we have often reciting in Vishnu Sahasranamam Vyasam Vasishta Naptaram Shaktev Pautra Makalmasham Parasharatmajam Vande Shukatatam Taponidhim Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya Vyasarupaya Vishnave Namo Vai Brahma Nidhaye Vasishtaya Namo Namaha. Who is Vedavyasa? Vedavyasa is Sakshat Paramatma. Vyasaya Vishnu Rupaya. His contribution towards the Vedic literature is great. And Brahma Sutram, he himself wrote the Brahma Sutra. Later many commentaries like the Sankara Bhashyam, Ramanuja Bhashyam, Madhva Bhashyam, later it came. One of the Prasthanatraya also, he wrote the Mahabharata. In the Mahabharata only we have the Bhagavad Gita. So that Mahapandita Vedavyasa Maharishi contributed. He divided the Vedas into four as Rigveda, Yajurveda, Samaveda and Atharvana Veda, and he gave all these Vedas to the Rishis. Later each Rishi they have contributed, making that each Vedas into different shakhas. So the Veda Parampara developed in this way. We are going to discuss more here. The names of the sages whose intuition brought down particular hymns are associated with them. If any mantras are being chanted, we need to mention who was the Rishi who revealed that mantra. Even our Gayatri Japam, performing our Nityanushtanam, all the mantras whichever we are going to recite, before we will do the Rishi, Chandas, Devata. So the Rishis who reveal, who are the revealer of the mantra, we used to mention the name of the Rishi at the beginning before reciting the mantra. They are Rishi known as seers, the mantra drashtaraha, munayaha. They are not the authors or composers of the hymns, the mantras. In the previous session we discussed Veda mantras are not being composed by the human. Vedas are anadi and Vedas are apaurusheya. All the Shruti Granthas means what? These four Vedas. Shruti. Shrutistu Vedo Vigneyaha. Shrutihi means which can be heard. Karna Paramparaya Yat Praptam. Shrutihi. So Vedas are Anadi, Apaurusheya, and these Shrutis, Shrutireva Pramanam, for all things in this world, which is the proof, means Veda of Pramanam. Shrutireva Pramanam, Shishtachara Anumiti Shrutireva Pramanam. In many places we have heard this word. So Shrutihi Eva Pramanam. Then Smritihi. Smriti are composed by the humans. Means all these Rishis. For what purpose? To perform as Veda Vihita Karmas. Whichever Vedas are instructing us to perform, those karmas, how to perform all those things, which mantras, what mantra, where to do the vinyoga, the prayoga of that. everything are discussed and written in the Vedangas that are available. The rishis have observed those mantras for which prayoga, which mantra supposed to be chanted. So that's why mantra drashtaraha munayaha means they are the revealer of the truth, revealer of the meaning of the Veda mantra, where it's supposed to be applied. What time, when this mantra's prayojanam is there, where we need to use this. That thing have been found by the rishis. So their contribution for the usage of these mantras and when to do, where to do, how to do. So rishis are helping us. So in Jaimini Yajnayamala, there Samakhyanam pravachanatvat vakyatvatvam tu parahatam tat kartru anupalambhena syat tataha apurusheyata. Vedas are apurusheya, not composed by human or not composed by any human being. So no authorship can be attributed or perceived for Vedic statements. They are considered eternal and unauthored, thus authoritative and valid independently of any human origin. So Vedas are eternal. So eternal, we can't say human beings are not ever pervading eternal. We can't say. So it has independence, valid, independently valid. No one can authoritative for all those Vedas. Tat kartra anupalambhena syat tataha apaurusheyata. So Vedas are apaurisheya. Therefore, according to the Indian tradition, the four Vedas from the sources of Dharma. Which is the source of the Dharma? The four Vedas. Athato Dharma Jignasa. What is called as Dharma? Chodana Lakshanortho Dharmaha. Mimamsa says Chodana Lakshanortho Dharmaha. So, which is the source of knowledge means the Vedas are the source of knowledge. Also, which is the source of the Dharma? Vedas are the source of the Dharma. They are eternal and instinctually valid. They are not the compositions of any human being. What are the contents? See, Vedas are covering everything in the human life to gain all those purushartha chadushtayam dharma artha kama moksham. The contents of the epics and Puranas, which are based on the Vedic texts and Vedic tradition, play a vital part in helping Vedic student in understanding the proper sense of the Vedic texts. So how Itihasa Puranam both are helping us to understand the essence of the Vedas. The student who learn the epics and Puranas can identify and easily understand Veda Vihita Karmas are what. How a human supposed to make all his actions correctly so that he can reach his supreme destination. Also, to even understand the right meaning of the Vedas, the Itihasa Puranas are helping. Those both are helping and playing an important role in understanding the proper sense of the Vedic text, Veda mantras. That's why in Mahabharata, our Vedavyasa Maharishi himself makes Itihasa Puranabhyam Vedam Sam Upabrahmayet. In Adi Parva, the shloka is available. One should enrich the supplement, the Veda, with Itihasa and Purana. If you make yourself the meaning of the Vedas and you need to make it strong, You can enrich it. The Veda with the Itihasa and Purana. Learn Itihasa and Purana. So when there are no possibilities, no time, or not gain the opportunity of Vedadhyaya, they can even learn Itihasa and Purana. Both are completely making us to understand the meaning what Vedas have told to us. Also, what other Vayu Puranas, other Puranas are informing about the Vedas, Vayu Purana, Vishnu Purana and Bhagavata Purana. These three Puranas are speaking about the four divisions of Vedas. If we wish to know about the history, how Vedavyasa Maharishi divided these Vedas into four, all those stories are available in the Puranas, in these Puranas, Vishnu Purana, it is available. Already the shlokas, the quotes which we have taken for Dwapara Yuga Ante Vedavyasa Maharishi Vedan Vivyasa, likely the quote which we have seen all from the Vishnu Purana. The most accepted view is that the Veda was divided into three by Krishna Dvaipayana after the end of the Dwapara Yuga. At the beginning it was Trayi, then Atharva Veda also added, then later Ruk Sama Ejumshi Trayi Iti Vedas Trayas Trayi. Likely at the beginning it was Trayi, then fourth Atharva Veda also added. The conception of God was highly developed since the time when the Vedas are available to humanity. What it says about the Paramatma, who is the God. So he is the great, the supreme truth, the supreme bliss, the extreme ecstasy, who is the omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent. All the Vedas are describing about the God only. So all accepted the God, Ishvaraha, Vedaha, both are Satyam. There, describing about the God means how? The Vedas are describing about the God. Even the Purusha Sukta portion of Rig Veda refers the term as Trayi. There, Rig Edus Sama. It says the form of the verses, the mantras, Rig Veda. Yajur Veda, the form of it's a form of prose. So Rig Veda available with many mantras in chandas, particular vrittas. So in verses, shloka type, okay, of having different, consists of different vrittas in it, chandas, different chandas. Yajur Veda is available in the form of the prose. Many vakyams are available in Yajur Veda. So that is Yajur Veda, most of the mantras are available in the prose format. Sama Veda, the form of song with music. That's why Sama Ganam. The Sama Veda mantras supposed to be sung. Mean to be sung in homas and all other sacred rites. Trayi Rik Samani Eju Rik Edus Samani. The fourth Atharva Veda subsequently added to them. Richas Samani Yeju Gumshi Sahishri Namrita Satam. Veda mantra itself says Richas Samani Yeju Gumshi. So later the Atharva Veda also added subsequently, and there are four Vedas. Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sama Veda and Atharva Veda. So as an outline, how we can understand what these four Vedas are telling. Rig Veda is available in the poem format, available as the mantras Rig, Richas, Richaha, Rig, Richahu, Richaha. All the Richas, the mantras are available. Those are called as a Rig. That Rig Veda, what those mantras are having means all are the prayers of the deities. Many devatas are there in this universe. Prithvi Devata, Antarikshasthana Devata, Dustaniya Devata. All devatas are there. All devatas are appraised, glorified. All are glorified in the Rig Veda. So the prayers of all those devatas are available in the poem format in the Rig Veda. So all mantras, it's a poems, means the prayers of all the gods. Then Yajurveda. In Yajurveda, what mantras are available? The methods to use mantras for yaga yajnas. How to make the altar, how to perform the yaga, what are the dravyas supposed to be offered as oblations in the sacred fire, which god supposed to be invoked by which mantra. So how to use those mantras, those methods have been described in the Yajurveda for particularly performing sacred rites, ceremonials. Then Samaveda comes. Samaveda is a musical notes. Samaganam. It's containing all those charming verses which can be sung. So Samaveda is having in musical notes. Atharva Veda. What Atharva Veda does? Atharva Veda consists of the methods of fulfill the material aspirations. So what we need to do, what we wish, we can get fulfillment of our all wishes by performing the actions which are suggested by the Veda mantras. There, Atharva Veda helps us to gain all those our wishes by performing the yaga yajnas as described by the Atharva Veda. So the materialistic aspirations completely. So again we just get in little deeper into each Veda's meaning itself. Rik. What is called as Rik? Niyata akshara pada avasana Rik. Arthat yatra padakrita vyavastha te mantra richaha. Padakrita. Padyam chadushpati yacha vrittam jatiriti dvidha. Padyam, we say no, padakritam, chadushpat padyam. Right? Like padakrita vyavastha yatra vartate te mantra richaha. Padena arthena cha upeta vritta baddha mantraha richa. Vritta bandhaha, vritta baddhaha mantraha are available in Rig Veda because we discussed already it is available in the poem format. Right, the mantras which are set in structured meters, Chandas, Gayatri, Ushnik, Anushtup, Trishtup, Jagati, Pankti, Brihati, Pankti, Anushtup. In all these Arya Chandas, Arya, Giti, likely many Chandas are there which are applied in the vaidhika chandas and laukika chandas, and many vaidhika chandas are which are available in the Vedas. So the mantras which are set in structured chandas are called as the Rig Veda mantras. Then Yajurveda, Yajuhu, Aniyata pada avasanam Yajuhu. If padakrita vyavastha yatra vartate te mantraha richaha, likely aniyata pada avasanaha yenna gitihi nacha padabaddham tat praslishtam pathitam yajuhu. Shabhara Bhashyam says, where there is no padakrita vyavastha, chandas vrittabaddha mantraha na santi, yatra na santi, yatra na gitihi, means padyam nasti padabaddham. Gadyasya lakshanam tu apadaha padasantanaha. Padasantanaha yatra vartate praslishtam patitam. Praslishta patita mantraha yajumshi. Vritta giti varjitatvena praslishta patita mantraha yajumshi. Remaniya Nyaya Vistaraha, it says, what are the Yajurveda mantras? The mantras which do not have specific rules for the meters and mantras that are used in various yajnas and homas. So no specific rules for the meters where it is not meter format is not there, which is not a poetic format with the padas, 4 padas. So Yajurveda mantras which are often used in the various havans, yajnas and homas. Then what about Sama? Labdha Geyaswaram Sama. Labdha Geyaswaram. Already Samaveda has a musical notes. It has a musical notes. It's supposed to sing. So Geetihi, it's a Ganam in Shabdakalpadrima, it says Visishta Kachit Geetihi Same Tyuchate Visishta Geetihi Pragitehi Mandravake Sama Shabdam Abhiyukta Upadishanti Shabarabhasham says. A unique feature of the Samaveda is the chanting of the mantras in a special musical style. Ah-hoo-ha, hoo-ha. Likely many music notes are there, that swaras, without knowing we are not supposed to say, like ah-hoo-ha. Likely the count is there for the matra count is there. Also the swaras, udatta, anudatta, swarita swaras are there. And it's supposed to be sung in all the homas, yaga yajnas. So the mantras in a special musical style, that mantras chanting of Samaveda, the majority of these mantras are derived from the Rigveda. In Samaveda itself we can find many Rigveda mantras, but the Swarabheda is there. The same mantras with little Patabhetam available from Rigveda, some mantras have been collected, those mantras are available in the Samaveda. But when Rigveda is chanted, it must be followed the same Rigvedic Swaram. But the same mantras which are available in the Samaveda, but as per the Samaveda, those mantras supposed to be sung with the musical notes. Chandobaddaha Rikvisheshaha eva atharvangirasaha. Shabdakalpadrima says Chandobaddaha Rigvisheshaha. Like it is available in the Rigveda in a poem format with a specific chandas, structured meter in it. Those mantras are Atharvaveda mantras. Atharvaveda, the mantras of the Atharvaveda were revealed to Rishi Angirasa. So although they form a separate Veda, most are composed in the same chandas, metrical patterns as those in the Rigveda. So Atharva Veda is also added. But most of the mantras which are already available in the Rigveda, the same are also available in the Atharva Veda. Again, little deep thing we will see about all these Vedas. Rigveda hymns, what it is? The Rigveda mantras are called as the Rig. So the mantras, it can't be called as shlokas, though it is having structured meter in it. But these mantras can be called as Rig, which are metrical in form of laudatory stanzas. The hymns are in the form of praise the deities. These mantras are dedicated to praising various deities. The deities represent the diverse forces of nature or embody their very essence, such as storms, rains and thunder. Mitra Varuna Devata, Ashwini Devata, Indra, Varuna, Dyava, Prithvi. Likely many devatas are there. Also, their forces, what they are controlling, those also appraised in the Veda mantras. It was in the Rigveda mantra especially many mantras which describes about the Indra, the greatness of the Indra, what are the things he is controlling, everything is described in the Rig Veda. It was these natural forces and their manifestations on the earth that inspired the devotion, imagination and contemplation of the Vedic seers and poets. So if Indra means who is having the thunderbolt, Vajrayudha at his hand, who is known for his ability to control all the devatas of Swarga. He has his domination, his superpower even on the land also, on the earth also. So likely each and every devatas are glorified and the prayers for all devatas are available in the format of the Rig mantras with a structured meter in Rig Vedas. In Yajurveda, portions are written in prose format. The word Yajus means sacrificial prayer or worship. Yajurveda explains the significance of the performance of the sacred rites. The mantras are sung while performing the sacrifices. It is important. Without chanting the mantra, we can't do the havan. We can't offer our oblations, the offerings, dravyas on the altar. So, devatodeshena dravya tyagaha homaha, the sacrifice, the sacrificial rites, when those are being performed, the mantras need to be chanted. So, Yajurveda mantras also often use this in this kind of sacred rites, and the mantras are sung while performing the sacrifices. What Samaveda does? Samaveda can be called the Veda of songs. The word Saman means music or singing. Mantras recited with a special musical style are a distinct feature of Samaveda. A major portion of Samaveda comprises the mantras of Rig Veda, which are required to be sung. Same thing as we discussed. So, most of the portions of Samaveda are taken from the Rig Veda, but when it is there in the Samaveda, though those mantras belong to the Rig Veda, as per the rule of Samaveda, those mantras supposed to be sung. But in Rig Veda, must be followed the own swara of the Rig Veda. Then Atharva Veda deals with charms and chants to be used for offensive and defensive purposes. The hymns in this Veda contain directions for keeping away the evil spirits and for cursing the demons. Atharva Veda contains Khat, Phat, Jahi, Chindi, Bhindi, Ghataya, Ghataya, Bandhaya, Bandhaya, this kind of keeping away the evil spirits and cursing the demons, this kind of mantras where the Atharvana Prayoga to get the protection from the evil. All those prayogas are available, those mantras are available here for offensive and defensive purposes. All these Veda mantras of Atharva Veda, which are very powerful, which completely protects us from the enemies. Okay. So, Atharva Veda contains references to various aspects of spiritual and temporal importance like Brahma Vidya, kingship, marriage, treatment of ailments, poetics, etc. Thus, we discussed about what are the Vedas, why the name came for all those Vedas like Rig, Yajus, Sama, Atharvana, the meaning of each Vedas, what it's outlined for how, what are the things are discussed in each Vedas, we have seen. In upcoming sessions, we will be discussing more about each and every Veda in particularly, and what shakhas all the Vedas are having, what are the parts of the Vedas. These and all we are going to see in upcoming classes. Dhanyavadaha, Namo Namaha.